Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast. My name is John Magi, and I will be your host. And in this episode, we're going to talk to you about doing some outlet shopping while you're on your Walt Disney World vacation. I'm joined at the table by our panel of experts, client services manager for Dreams Unlimited Travel.
You're married to him.
His title changes depending on my whim, so I had to remember what it was now.
I'm not allowed to have a plaque on my desk.
Right. Agent and manager of our Welcome Center, Teresa Eccles.
Hi, everybody.
Chief Executive Officer for Dreams Unlimited Travel, Peter Werner.
Hey, everyone.
So again, thank you guys for joining us. This is part of a series we're going to do where we look at things you can do outside of Walt Disney World while you're on your Walt Disney World vacation. This isn't about, going somewhere and getting a hotel and changing. It's about if I'm staying at Walt Disney World in a Disney resort, how easy is it to do these other things that are available to us?
Did you hear those thuds? Those are our audience fainting when they find out there's actually something outside Walt Disney World.
Exactly. You can actually leave property. And for this one, we asked Teresa to go to some of the outlets and look at logistics of getting to and from the area outlets, what's available there, the type of stores, the type of merchandise. I think that this is something that a lot of people do. While you might not go to another theme park, I think that outlet shopping has become sort of part of your Walt Disney World vacation. Orlando, in and of itself, has become a shopping destination for a lot of folks. I mean, we have high-end shopping, we have malls, but the outlets tend to...
We have malls?
We do have malls.
I didn't know that. I've never seen one.
All you have to do is look at the parking lot to know that a lot of people are doing it.
Exactly.
Everybody in there brought their own car.
So, again, a popular thing to do, we're going to talk to you folks maybe if you haven't tried it in the past. What is it like to go to these outlets, and what are the logistics of taking care of it? Teresa, let's talk a little bit. First of all, I think when I think of the outlets here in Orlando, I think of three major outlets. There are other smaller ones. There are sort of strip malls that have outlet shopping in them, but there are three big outlets. What have you had a chance to visit?
Well, I started off at the International Premium Outlets. That's at 4951 I Drive. You can see it from I-4. It's the main
next
one.
To the Catholic Shrine?
No, this is not that one.
No, this is the one on International
This is
Drive.
the one on
Okay,
I Drive.
I'm sorry.
And this is the one I think of when I first moved here. I thought, there's the outlets, and I think that might have been...
It is also the best one to go to. I can tell you right now.
Oh, really? Okay,
It is the best one to go to.
I disagree on that.
Oh,
Okay.
I
I do
do
too.
tension already.
I
do too.
disagree.
I disagree.
I
Go ahead.
disagree.
Yeah.
Okay.
They used to be called the Bells Mall.
Okay. So the other one, then there was another one, Lake Buena Vista Factory Stores. Drove by that and kept going.
That's the one on 535. That's closest to Disney. In my opinion, not that great.
Unless you're looking for a store there. Like they have
Right.
a Gap outlet and they have a Reebok outlet. So if you're looking for that,
There are things there, right? The one on Vineland, the Premium Outlet, that's the one that I like the most. That's the one by the Catholic
There's the Premium
Church.
Outlet Vineland, which is over by the Mary Queen of the Universe
It's on
Shrine.
Vineland Avenue. Mm-hmm.
And then there's the Premium Outlet International. They're owned by
Right.
the same company.
Both
Just going to say,
Simon.
this
Both
is
Simon.
something that was interesting isn't Lake Buena Vista also Simon? I was doing some research, and I thought they were all
I didn't
Simon.
see it come up on my list when I'll have to look on my Simon app.
But yeah, Kevin's right. This used to be something else, and now it's all Simon Properties malls. So while there's some sort of overlap in the stores, there are some different offerings depending on where you want to go. Let's talk a little bit before we get to the malls and before we talk about the outlets and the stores that are available. Talk a little bit about if I'm staying at Walt Disney World, how easy is it for me to get to one of these outlets?
I would say very easy. Most people have a GPS now, but I think traffic plays a factor. If you have a rental car, I wouldn't necessarily take your rental car because the parking is very hard, especially on the weekends.
Uber.
Holidays and weekends, you can really have a hard time finding a parking space.
I was
for
over
sure.
there. I was at both of these main outlets on a weekend and during the week. And during the week, Monday through Friday, is so much easier. It's so much easier to get around, and I would say go early in the day. Don't wait till late in the day because everybody's there.
it's also these places get packed when there's inclement weather.
And for me, that is why I prefer Premium Outlets International over Vineland. Vineland is always a circus. Parking is terrible. It is always ridiculously crowded. Where at International Drive, it's not.
Oh, see, I don't see that, Pete. Vineland's got
I'm there all the time.
I know, but Vineland's got the parking deck now, the parking
Right, the
garage.
parking garage. They also have valet parking for $10. You can just
Well,
pull
I mean,
up.
they have valet at International as well.
They both have valet, yeah.
But I'm saying that it's not even so much about the parking as it is the sea of humanity you're trying to navigate as you're going through these outlets. And like I said, I International Drive, I'm over there once a month. Once every 2 months. I will go to Vineland, but only if it's an absolute necessity, because the crowds are always so much worse.
Wow, see, that's flipped for me. I found the other one because it just might have just been when I was there. Or
I think it's the traffic on iDrive that keeps me away from the end of the iDrive outlets. I just find the traffic getting there to be horrendous. I find it easier to
See,
get
maybe
to the
from
ones-
where you're coming from, coming from here, I don't have that problem. It's a very easy trip for me. It's much easier for me at iDrive. Plus, they have 2 stores there that they don't have at the other one.
Okay.
That are, and we're going to talk about why it's a good idea to hit these particular stores in a little bit. But
So you can drive. Obviously, you can take your car from Walt Disney World and drive. It's fairly easy to get to. Everything in Orlando is easy to get to. There's signage. Parking is free, except Kevin mentioned there's a valet option. But there are other options for getting there. If you don't want to drive yourself, you can Uber over, as Pete mentioned. You can take a cab. But they also offer transportation, right? Isn't there a shuttle?
there are shuttles from several of the resorts, and if you go to, you have to sign up for that ahead of time. You can't just get it, but you can go onto the website, the Simon Outlet website, and you put in the day, where you're coming from, and they'll give you a pickup time. They'll also give you 2 options for a come back to your hotel or your resort time also. And it has a drop-down box with all the hotels that it services.
This is actually all 3 of the outlets we mentioned have this. When I was looking at their website, though, it seemed like the shuttle was to not Disney resorts.
Right.
It seemed like it was maybe iDrive.
Swan Dolphin was included, but
Swan Dolphin
yeah,
was.
but other than that, it was all iDrive. Also, another option if you're on iDrive is the iTrolley, which is you can get for a $5 for a day pass, and that's going to move you all up and down iDrive and let you off at numerous locations, so you're not locked into one place, but you are toting your packages around wherever you go.
I was just going to say, now I think having your own car with you, I think the parking is worth the hassle, because otherwise you're toting those bags
You're toting
everywhere
your
you
bags. And you do see people laying all over the outlets.
Yes.
The designated bag man laying there with all the packages around him while everybody else is scurrying about shopping. So you do see that a lot. So
I think they're easy to get to. I think there's options for that. I don't believe anyone should be put off by going to the outlet. I don't think it's a hardship or difficult to do.
No, I agree. I was a little, the first time I went, which was years ago, I think I went with Pete when I first moved here, I was a little, I guess, apprehensive about going because I'd never really done outlet shopping. And there was a lot of people there, people toting their luggage they just bought or their luggage that they're dragging with them wherever they go. And it was a little daunting, but once you get used to it and you know the deals that you're going to get, it's well worth it.
well, that's I think one of the things we have to talk about first.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In terms of the history of these outlets. They started out as factory stores back in the 70s. Something a factory made something that was a mistake, or they had an overabundance of supply, so they'd send them to a factory store, and that was actually stuff coming from the manufacturer going into these stores. But as they proliferated, they didn't have enough to put into these places. So what a lot of these stores do is they create product specifically for the outlets. Coach is the biggest offender of this. What you see, generally speaking, on occasion you'll get some product in there that is from an actual Coach store, but the vast majority of what you see in a Coach outlet is made for that outlet, and it is of a lower quality than what you are getting in the mall at the main retail store. Also, for some of these stores, and this is something to check, you buy it, you get it home, and there's something wrong with it, and you try and return it to the retail location near you, and they won't take it. Coach is notorious for that as well. So what you need to understand is that for about 80% of these stores, the merchandise they're selling is made specifically for the outlets, and it is of a lower quality. Now, in some cases, it doesn't matter. There are some, 7 for All Mankind is a great example. A lot of what is in a 7 for All Mankind, those are jeans and clothing, high-end stuff. You go into Neiman Marcus to buy 7 for All Mankind jeans, easily going to cost you $200, $250. You can get these. You can get 7 for All Mankind jeans for $100, $150. At the outlets, they are not necessarily the same ones that you're getting in Neiman, but they're very good. As a matter of fact, all of my jeans I buy at the outlets. I don't buy in those stores anymore. And they're great, and they've lasted, and I wear them, and I have no problem with them. So that's kind of what you need to go in knowing. You also need to go in knowing what the actual real prices of this stuff are. A lot of these places, 75, 85% off. 75 or 85% off of a price you would never have paid in the first place.
Right.
So, actual retail price, $300. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $300. No store sells it for that. No store sells it for that. So a lot of this stuff is gimmick. But with that said, if you're smart, if you know what you're looking for, you can find some good deals. And I have my suggestions.
I want to go back to what you said again about Coach. One of the things I found about Coach was I like the stuff in the outlet store better than the regular men's stuff. Like I found a line that they made exclusively for the outlet. So, different stuff.
But I'll give you an example. Someone I know bought an orange Coach wallet. We got it at the outlets. And within a year, the color had worn off this wallet. It was so cheap. And actually, after I saw that, I said, never, ever do business with them again.
See, the Coach wallet that I have, how many years have I had that? And it
But
still
we bought
looks-
that in a retail
We
spot.
did, and it looks just like the day we bought
And
it.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is, sometimes you'll get some great stuff in the outlets. I'm not saying it's all crap. I'm just saying be mindful that it is made for the outlets, and sometimes it is not of the same quality as what it's the same brand name. But
Now
not the same
I was in
quality.
Vera Bradley, and which I love, and here's the new one that I just bought while I was out. Love it.
Did you expense that?
I'm going to.
It can be seen from space.
Anyway, they were half price. So basically it was buy one, get one free. So I bought 2. And it was the same pricing as other Vera Bradley stores I've been in and online. So I felt like I was getting a deal.
Yeah, and in those cases, absolutely. And you did your research. You knew it's the same thing.
Now, the Kate Spade bag I bought, which I'll be getting the receipt for too, was I had no intention of buying the bag, but when I saw it, it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't really care anything about the backstory of this bag because I wanted it so bad. It was kind of retro-y looking. And of course, it retailed for $329, and I got 70% off that. Now, I might have paid what it actually is worth. I don't know. I don't know if I got a deal on that.
Well,
But
at the
I
end of the
really
day, it
wanted
comes down to, do you like it, and are you
Right,
willing to spend
exactly.
that?
Right.
Because the converse is true as well. It may be made for those stores, but you may like it more than what you've seen in the retail stores. And if it's a price point, if you like it, it's a price point you're comfortable with, that's all that really matters.
Right, yeah. And that fit into, I wouldn't have spent over $100 for this bag, and I didn't. But I wasn't going to spend $329.
I definitely agree about Coach, but I like some of the stuff. I've never had a problem with quality, though. I've never had an issue with any of the stuff I bought. But there are places, where you actually are buying the same product. Like, I like the Shinola watch. And Shinola has an outlet.
Correct.
At the premium outlets. And you are actually buying the same stock they sell. And on the website, a watch is $550. At the outlet, it's $250. So there is a $300 savings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I wandered into one of the cosmetic stores, and it was one that sold Elizabeth Arden, Clinique, had a little bit of everything in there, and the prices were a good cut off what you would buy in Macy's.
I want you to know, but that's not the same quality as
I'm telling you, it's not. But here's the point: Clinique gives you a free gift if you buy. They have free gift times where you get this little bag.
They do
with
that a
all these
couple
different
times a
things in it,
year.
a couple times a year, and I always get them. I always go to Macy's and I always get them. I always get 2. We split it up among me and the girls. So they had them in there, but they had all of the old bags with the old makeup in it at a cut price where you could buy them. So I don't know if they went out and bought all these overstock and then
Could be.
So I bought one for $15. I took it home. I opened it up. Stella and I were looking at it, and I could see that some of the items in there were not. I'm not going to put this on my face because it was separating, and it was just.
What Pete said about Coach, how this is made for this store, those perfume outlets, that is made for an outlet
perfume,
store.
yeah.
That is not the same product that you would buy in a department store.
Now, we can't really list all the stores.
Right.
I mean, there's just too many to go over. But let's talk about sort of what people can find at an outlet. We mentioned leather goods, luggage, things like that, perfumes, clothing.
For
Well,
our
luggage-
audience, I think the best thing to know is that there's a Disney outlet in
Get to
each.
that, yeah. It's like sort of the punchline, but that's okay.
Oh,
Oh,
there's someone at the door.
There's somebody
we
from
have
the
it.
Disney outlet now.
secret visitor is coming in. But yeah, so, clothing is very, very popular at these sneaker stores.
Shoes, yeah.
The sneaker outlets are huge. But I think for most of our listeners, Kevin's right, the big thing is a Disney store. So let's start at International Drive
Okay.
outlets, and let's talk about the Disney store at International Drive.
Okay. That one is not as good as the other one. It's smaller. I didn't find as many things in there that, it was just basic stuff. Some of it seemed kind of like overstock.
Now,
I'd
I am
seen it
going
other
to
places.
tell you that there are 2, and you can go to both on the same day and find wildly different
Wildly
stock.
different.
That's the one thing
wildly
about
different.
the Disney stores is you don't know what you're going to get.
And the pricing is the same because I checked pricing on the same item. I saw something I wanted at the first one. When I went to the one on Vineland, they had the same item at the exact same price. I also found it, which really, it really upset me, is I found cruise line merchandise.
Let's show
that-
some of these pictures from the Disney store so people can take a look at what we're looking at. But yeah, so you can see things like, if they buy too many shirts from an inaugural sailing, you can find that merchandise there. You can find park items.
Holiday park.
You're never going to
shirts.
find the current holiday.
No, it's
like if
always
you're
the
there at
last
Christmas
holiday.
2017, you're not going to find Christmas
No, you get last
2017.
year's, yeah.
It is overstock. They're clearing out.
And I
And
will
some-
say that store is always packed.
Packed.
People are
Always
in
packed.
there just grabbing this stuff up. And I can see why, because there are cute little holiday dresses. The clothes are going well. The kids are always going to want the toys that are marked down. I like the kitchen items. The coffee mugs. They had some really cool retro glassware, which I really liked, which I still
I
thought was
bought John a
overpriced.
Christmas present in one of the Disney outlets this year. It was a $45 T-shirt, and I paid $5.99 for
Yeah.
it. But that is a find. You will not. This is not giveaway stuff because if there's something that's still for sale in the park, it's the same as the park
Right,
price.
right.
There's also Disney store merchandise. You're going to find the same stuff you can get at any Disney store in some of these. Again, it's the overstock. It's being sent to them. And I think
And the price is good on a lot of that. A lot of the toys and the plush. The price was, I thought, if I had a small child, well, Stella was with me and she was wanting the stuff, but I wasn't getting it for her. But I thought the price was good and people were snapping it up.
any other specific stores you want to point out? The International Drive outlets?
I like Skechers was nice. The Nike store, like the shoe stores, they were all popular. Loved them all. I'm a Sketcher girl, though. I don't like.
There's a Toomey outlet in both malls where I think you get, or both
Well,
outlets.
I want to talk about that because you mentioned luggage, and I have bought. There's Travel Pro, which is a really respected brand. You watch a lot of flight attendants; they carry Travel Pro. This is one of those circumstances where what's being sold in the outlet is made for the outlet. And when I tell you I've had such problems, I had massive problems with Travel Pro luggage bought from the outlets. Wow. In particular, the one on I Drive. By contrast, though, luggage I have now is about 4 years old. I travel a lot, and it's Toomey. I have 2 pieces that look great, and they have held up. So, from my personal experience, I can say if you're going to do luggage, Toomey's the place to go.
Now, I've bought luggage, one at an outlet and one at a completely different store. and I had problems with both of them. Toomey pieces. However, I took them back into Toomey, and Toomey replaced them. Gave me, and didn't ask me how much I paid for it at the outlet. They gave me the full retail price in credit, and all I had to do was go into the website and tell them what I wanted, and they replaced it at full value.
So that's good to know.
Also want to point out, I think that we found this with Toomey, and it's probably true of a lot of these stores, is you're dealing with items that might have been last season.
Right.
Stores that deal with a constant, new product and new designs. Our Toomey stuff we bought was quote unquote the year before.
However,
Didn't matter
if
to
you're
us.
looking for a gray suitcase,
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 2016 or 2017.
One place where that does come into play is at the Neiman Marcus outlet. And that is at the International Drive one versus the Vineland Road one. And I can tell you that I can't speak for all this stuff, but a lot of the men's stuff is stuff that was in the store. And that didn't sell, was last season stuff. And the number of times I've gone in there, this is why I go there a lot, because I'll go in there and I'll see a shirt that I bought 6 months before, half the price that I paid for it. Now, Saks, on the other hand, Saks off Fifth, a lot of the stuff in there is actually manufactured knockoffs of their own stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, I have to tell you about the Neiman Marcus outlet that I had a problem with. We went in there one day, and the sign said 70% off. Now, I am very familiar with the Shinola prices. And the Shinola watch that I was looking at, I could buy on the website for $550. They had marked it up to $800 and took 70% off. And the lady said to me, well, that's an $800 watch. And I'm not good about not telling people what I think.
Yeah.
So I pulled it up on I can buy it directly from the website for $500. She said, well, no, that's not true.
Wow.
And I stood there with my phone in my hand and I said, well, it is.
Did you hurt
So
her?
if you really have to,
Do your research.
you have to
your
know,
stuff.
or
You have to know your stuff. Yeah.
or you have to be willing to say to yourself, am I comfortable with this price?
Now, we went into Forever 21. I know none of you have ever been in Forever 21.
I have been.
Have you?
For my niece, yeah.
Cool. Okay. So Stella and I went in there, and I think a lot of that stuff was from last season.
Which is okay. Really.
Which is okay.
I mean, I pay attention to this crap, and I don't care.
There was enough
Unless
of
it's
it.
got a
season.
date on it, who cares?
Yeah.
Right. And there was enough choices in there where she could find a nice armload of things to, take to the register. And I think, like you said, some people just don't care, especially if you're in for bulk shopping. Like if you're going to do back to school, or you're on vacation and you're getting close to take home, you just want the good price and you just want a good selection
And
to
for
choose
us
from.
here in Florida, seasons don't matter.
Right.
We're not shopping for coats and things like that, so that doesn't matter to us.
But for tourists,
Yeah.
you are, and
Yeah.
there are places to get that. I will tell you some of the stores that I frequent that I've had very good experiences with. Johnston and Murphy for shoes has been fantastic. I really like Ted Baker. It's a British designer. Clothes are really good, and the prices are excellent, and it's real Ted Baker stuff. It's not knockoff stuff. Vince is another one that's at the, and that's the one where invariably, this is really what got me going back to the outlets more and more, because I love Vince clothing, and I would buy some, and then I would go in there, the exact same shirt. It was half off.
You were talking about Johnston and Murphy, and I'm not going to mention names, but they have a Johnston and Murphy in, I don't know what part of Disney Springs it's called. It's the arcade. Port of Entry, I don't know what it's called. But it's in the arcade area. And they have a Johnston and Murphy store. And we were with a friend who found a travel backpack you would use it as a carry-on. Mm-hmm. And it was $495. And he decided he wasn't going to pay that. I was in the mall, the premium outlets one day, and I found the exact same backpack, no different, for $160. So
yeah, I love the Johnston and Murphy. I wear a lot of Johnston and Murphy shoes. I love their new line of sneakers. They're amazing. And yeah, you do. From what I can tell, if it is stuff made for the outlets, it's really good. and it's worn really well. And some of this stuff I've had for years.
Well, again, I think this is a matter of sometimes the merchandise gets to the outlets.
Yeah,
For
sometimes.
Johnston and Murphy.
If you're going to buy, if you're looking for something higher, back in the Neiman Marcus store, I sold a high-end backpack that would have sold for $1,800. I am not discussing whether you think it's worth $1,800 or not, but it was $395. And it's one of those things that if you like the backpack, it's, that's a
it's
deal.
like the purse I bought.
You should know what you're looking for, especially if it's high end. Webmaster Kathy was looking at a Movado watch. Then we had looked in the islands, we had looked in other stores. We went to the outlet, so she knew the price of the watch she wanted, and she found a great deal. So
You're right. Yeah, there are.
you need to know what you're doing.
Seven for All Mankind is another one where the stuff is great, along with True Religion for jeans. Like, you want designer jeans, really nice high-end jeans and some clothing. I love their stuff. Along with Neiman Marcus. Saks off Fifth. Saks in general is hit or miss. Even the one on Fifth Avenue is hit or miss. But this one, it's not my favorite.
I didn't care for it either.
But so there are places. There are things you can things you can find that are really good. Over at the other ones, Ferragamo. That's real Ferragamo. Zegna.
If you're a Dooney and Burke fan, the premium outlets closest to Disney have a Dooney and Burke outlet. You can find Disney, Dooney, and Burke's in there, but it is completely hit or miss. I have traveled with some friends who have gone in there looking, and we have hit where there's a couple of different styles. However, it's not the newest one. It's not the one that just hit the park, but you can get a great deal on them.
I think that for most people who are doing this or going to the outlets from their Disney vacation, this might be a whole day.
Definitely.
Between the time you need to do what you need to do and how big these places are and how many stores are, this is an all-day thing. There are places to eat.
There's food courts, both of them, and
courts.
they're consistent. And
Not the best
Don't.
food.
well, I'm not
Just
saying
don't.
I'm not saying it's good food, but I'm just saying both of the outlets, the food court is
Right.
basically the same. There's
If
also
you need
food trucks.
sustenance-
There's also food. It's small food. It's small food. There's also food trucks that come and go at both of these locations.
Yeah, the food trucks, they figured out that there's a great place to do business.
Yeah. Right.
So they pull up. So maybe a little bit better than a food court.
I agree.
But I think
Probably.
you have the option to eat. There are drinks. There are things that you can do.
There's vending machines everywhere for drinks and snacks. Both of them have chocolate stores and candy stores and ice cream locations and.
If you're looking for fast, if you're looking for good, if you're looking for just a drink, so you won't go hungry, you won't starve. Is there like something for people to be entertained? What about the kids? Can the kids find
The
something to do?
Vineland location does have a really nice playground. It's out in the blazing sun, but I did see a lot of fathers sitting there with their bags and packages and their little children while mom's still off shopping. But it is it's a nice little play area. There's also little cars and carts for the kids to ride around, but I didn't see a lot of people using them because I think it would be hard to control your child in crowds when they're driving around on this little animal,
I think they try. They want to understand that kids are going to get bored. Someone's going to get bored in your party, so they try to do something that's going to entertain you.
And talking also about the food courts, one good thing about that is it gets you out of the heat to have a drink or just a snack. There's a Starbucks, and then there's a good variety, and there's also some really healthy options in there. I can't remember the name of the place. It was some sort of green place that made these awesome salads. So it's not all
Junk
crappy. It's
food,
not all
right?
crappy junk.
That's
There it is, green beet. Yeah, that was a wonderful option.
One of the things I've noticed between the two different ones is the end of I Drive, those outlets, that outlet is more spread out. There are separate buildings, and they're farther apart. In my mind, there's a great deal more in the sun time.
Oh, definitely.
And if you're here in July, in the sun time can be brutal. The one closer to Disney, the premium outlets, while it's a maze of different hallways because they've added on and added on, most of it is covered. It doesn't mean it's going to be less hot. It just means you're going to be out
It's
of the
covered,
sun.
and there's usually a
they're
breeze
kinda-
blowing through there too.
They're kind of more compact. It's huge, but it's still more compact than the other one, which has a lot of outbuildings.
Right.
So we spent quite a bit of time on the International Drive outlet. the Vineland outlets. Any big difference between the two? Anything where you said,
Well,
boy, I
there's-
would come here
there's-
for this or not for that?
There's, I think, less shops at Vineland. That's where the playground is. That's where the covered parking is, a nice parking deck. The Disney store is bigger there.
I think you might find a little more high-end shops at the
There are
premium
some.
outlets.
Yeah, I mean, Brunello Cucinelli, Burberry, I'm seeing those here.
Zinnia.
Bottega Veneta is there. So those are definitely,
There's a Bottega
At the
Veneta
Bagel.
outlet.
well,
Oh, no. Thanks,
Now
Pete.
you know.
there's a Brunello Cucinelli outfit. Go look at the cost of his stuff. Holy crap.
Yeah, but he makes things for people that
Well,
are smaller than I am. Bottega Veneta makes things for people of all sizes. I know what we're doing.
also, I think I forgot to mention that there are wheelchairs, complimentary wheelchairs if you need them. You can
If there's
get 'em
someone
while-
in your
get them while you
party
can.
with a mobility issue, they're going to need some sort of transportation.
Yeah, and there's charging stations for your scooters. There's what else did I want to tell you? There was something else.
One of my favorite things, I think this is right. Is this the one that has the A&W root beer?
Yes,
Right near the food court.
yes, it's
the
in the
only
food
place
court.
where you can get an A&W root beer, diet root beer from a fountain.
Okay, that's
Oh
a big
my
thing.
God.
Yeah, this is a
Okay.
big thing. We
That's a
don't
big
go to
thing.
the premium outlets without a trip through the A&W.
Okay, I tried to get Stella to go in there. She didn't understand the.
We don't buy anything else.
Yeah.
You
We
just
just
go
get
there
an
for that.
A&W diet root beer to go.
Also, I want to mention before we end, Simon, which is the owner of both of these places, they have an app that guides you through all of this and tells you the stores, and it's just called Simon, I think, and it's got a lot of information on it that you could find online.
Does it have like a map, interactive map
It has
type of thing? That's
maps.
great.
It has all kinds of.
Yeah, because you can get lost.
That's my problem.
One
when
of
I go
the
to these.
things
I
I
never
want
And you
to
don't
go
wanna
back,
walk
I
around
want to
this piece of
revisit the
paper.
Disney store thing is if we talk about people coming to Disney on a budget, if your kids are asking for things in the park and you have a car, I would take them to the outlet and see if you can satisfy that itch there because you might save some money.
And smaller kids, that's going to be perfectly fine for them. I mean, when they
'Cause you
get a
will
little bit
find-
older in the tween and the teen area, you're not going to fool them. But little kids, I would definitely take them there. And that people were doing it. You could tell they were. They were in there just scooping stuff up. So
I will say this too, and this is a store that's in both of them. The Calvin Klein outlet. Again, it's manufactured specifically for the outlet, but I tell you, I've gotten some great deals on things and some great clothes that have lasted. And you walk out feeling like, wow, I just bought a lot for not a lot of money.
speaking of, I still have my Calvin Klein jeans from way back when Brooke was. Yeah, they fit my
When
leg.
nothing came between
nothing
her and
come
her.
Nothing
between
came between me and
Teresa
my
and her
Calvin,
Kleins.
Kleins, and nothing goes in my Calvin Kleins anymore because I can't even get it over my foot. But yeah, I still have them.
Is there anything specific at Vineland you want to mention? That was
Godiva
the-
chocolate.
Godiva chocolates. That's a good one.
It is there, and they have the most amazing ice cream. I found out while I was there. It was good.
And then lastly, I think the other big one is the Lake Buena Vista factory outlets. These are the one on 535, closest to Disney, the smallest of all of the outlets.
I never liked them.
I never been a fan of this outlet. The only time I liked them was when the Disney store was much bigger. And the Disney store has become very small, and it's just not. I don't even think it's worth going.
I'm going to be
this
honest with you.
outlet.
That's
It's not even a consideration.
no. However, there's a Reebok outlet there,
Right.
And if
We
you're
go for the
looking
Reebok outlet.
a sports outlet, Rawlings, the ones who make the baseball gloves.
Wow, you knew that.
you guys paying attention?
I was impressed with that.
They have an outlet there. So if that's something that you're looking for, I think that's the only one that I know of.
You know what shocked me is I was driving to the iDrive one. All the outlet stores that have just popped up, not even within the outlet mall, they're just absolutely everywhere.
That's what I'm saying. We couldn't
It's
possibly
crazy.
cover everything
Yeah,
because
there's a
they're
lot.
If you want a
strip
store,
malls.
Google it, and it's there somewhere.
sure.
You know it is.
There's a big and tall men's outlet on iDrive. Casual male, DXL, big and tall. It's not in one of the malls. It's standalone store in a strip mall, but if you're looking for big and tall men's clothes, there is an outlet.
Excellent. So much more we could talk about when it comes to outlet shopping, but I think this is the three big ones, is the ones that people go to the most when they're on vacation, and I think it's worth it. I think it's worth a trip out.
I would
Absolutely.
say don't be intimidated. Just do it. You know?
Just know you're going to find a crowd.
And while I don't know exactly how much an Uber is over to the, it can't be
It
much.
can't be that much.
It
no.
can't be much, especially if
you
you
know
go from
what?
Disney property to the ones on
I
Vineland.
believe I looked at cab, and I believe a Mears taxi was like $30.
That's not bad. But here's
Which I
what you
imagine
do.
Uber would be cheaper.
Here's what you
Right.
do. You
But
leave,
again, you
you
have to
leave the
carry your
man
bags.
and the kids at the pool. If you seriously know what you need and you just do it. Grab your girlfriend and head over there. Leave the man and the kids out. I wouldn't take the kids.
The other thing I would tell you, and we've done it several times, a little hint, if you know you're going to either mall for a specific store, call the store and ask them what's the best entrance. We've done that many times.
So you can do, because instead of walking all over that mall
Right.
trying to find it, you can park right by it
and go in.
and go in. Excellent. Teresa, thank you so much for your research.
Sure.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for participating in our conversation.
You'll get my receipts later.
I know, paying for that Dooney and Burke. Thank you, everybody at home, for listening and watching. We hope you have a great week, and we hope you have a great vacation.